caught up with Andrew Borkowski, winner of the 2012 Toronto Book Award for his debut collection of short stories, Copernicus Avenue. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the awards, founded by Toronto City Council in 1974. The $10,000 prize honors authors of books that are evocative of Toronto.
Thanks so much.
Andrew, congratulations on winning the Toronto Book Award yesterday. How does it feel?
It feels pretty amazing. It's just still just sinking in. You know, I was surprised. You know, you psych yourself you're not going to win, right? That's how you cope with the suspense. But so yes, I was pretty shocked. It was like this out of body moment when I actually heard. I think I heard the first syllable of my name. And then the world kind of went silent for about 10 seconds. I realized I had to get on stage and say something. So yeah, but it was wonderful, just wonderful, a wonderful experience.
The win has brought new attention to the book Copernicus Avenue, originally published in 2011 by Cormorant Books. It is an English-language collection of short stories that follows the life of a family after World War II to present day, living in the city's Polish neighborhood by Copernicus Avenue, which really is Roncesvalles Avenue. The family is bicultural. The dad is Polish, the mother Canadian. They have 2 sons. And the book follows the boys' attempt, the second generation if you will, to understand their father's history and struggle to build a new life in Canada. The stories, while fictionalized, mirror Borkowski's own upbringing in Toronto's Roncesvalles village.
It seems there are very few voices from Eastern Europe within Canadian literature. Why do you think that is?
I think that is because it's been a difficult story to tell in a North American context, particularly in the last, well, through the period I'm writing about, 1960s, 1970s. Well, I was just looking really at my little corner of that, of course, which was the post-war Polish community on Roncesvalles Avenue. And of course, you know, that was a story that really hadn't been told. Somehow it got overlooked, you know, 20 years of multiculturalism or 30 years. And I think every immigrant group faces those issues about viability. You know, the parents give up everything to come here and the second generation is expected to reestablish itself. But I think there were additional complications with the Polish community, or really communities from Eastern Europe generally after the war. A few of them being what? You know, there was a difficult story to tell in the 60s and 70s.
How come?
Because it was, well, the way I like to put it is it was a story that contained a lot of inconvenient truths at the time. You know, you have to go back to the 70s. You know, I mean, my politics have always been a little left liberal. But you know, I get out in the great wide world and go to university and start meeting card-carrying Trotskyites and friends from the suburbs of Ottawa with their little red books. And you know, it was kind of, that's where I had to draw a line. You know, it's like, come on guys, like, I know this isn't, you know, this isn't, the reality, that divide in the left-right divide in politics here in North America was very hard to surmount. And there were a lot of people that really just didn't want to know about the Gulag, about what had happened in Poland, and a lot of people didn't want to know about how Poland was sold out at the end of the war by the Western Allies. The predominant narrative was one of triumphalism. We won the war in Canada, Britain, the United States, and we Poles had lost our war. And that was a very inconvenient truth for people. And people really didn't want to hear that story. And so the best thing to do is just forget about it and put it behind you.
Writer, editor, journalist, Borkowski studied journalism and English literature at Carleton University. As a freelance journalist, he has published articles in the Globe and Mail, Quill Enquirer, and the Los Angeles Times. His short fiction has appeared in Grain, The New Quarterly, and in Storyteller magazine. He is currently working on new material.
What's next? Well, yeah, no, it's true. You know, the clock is ticking, so I got to get a move on. I have a novel that I'm working on since second draft. Now it is, it's set in England. It's not a Polish story per se, though I have made the main character sort of Polish, Ukrainian, Canadian guy, because that's just, I'm comfortable in that skin, you know. But then beyond that, I've started plans for a book that would be both a prequel and a sequel to Copernicus Avenue.